Yeah, I'm in Buffalo, New York. Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just been a stressful week, all this back and forth with all this stuff. It's been tough.
It's kind of hard to focus on.
Stay focused on what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big struggle for me right now because, I mean, I was up till 5 a.m. because you get one piece of information leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And man,
Yeah.
knocked my socks off last night.
Yeah, same here. There's it's a lot of people who are part of these movements that have nothing to do with the original civil rights movements from back in the days. They don't actually know how this stuff is actually organized. They're just coming through and just trying to be a part of something. And then you got all these, other nationalist groups that's coming in and other movements just trying to, use this as a scapegoat to get their agendas, out there as well. So it's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. Then you got, what's the website I just shared with someone? Let's see. It's called Crowds on Demand.
What's that about?
You can pay to find your protesters. So there's a group. It's like a modeling agency. And if you come out with a new product, or you want to do a demonstration, or you want to do like flash mobs for a movie star or something like that, Crowds on Demand.
And, people was asking me because, me being an author and an activist of my community, people were asking me why wasn't I out? I was like, I don't want to be around individuals who don't understand the purpose behind the injustice. You know what I'm saying? They just like I said, they just trying to come out and damage stuff and try to steal stuff and stuff like that. That's not what I'm about. If you're going to come out and have a purpose, and you have a purpose for protesting, that sounds more like what I would be a part of. But
there's no leader.
Yeah.
There's no leader. It's just a
free for all. It's a free for all.
Free for all. A shit show. Somebody said, well, where's Jesse Jackson? It's like, don't nobody
nobody hardly knows who Jesse Jackson is anymore. Not these young cats.
They're irrelevant.
They really don't.
They're like, who?
Yeah. I was telling this young brother, and I was like, yo, man, Tupac was talking about this in the 90s. He was like, what did he say? He ain't even know. And this was an older head. So, it's a lot of people who not aware. They're just trying to be they're just trying to be a part of something. And, the way the civil rights movement was back in the day, people was willing to die for it. You know what I'm saying? And I more or less feel if I would be out there, I would be all in. That's just the type of individual I am. If you see what I do on Facebook, I post a lot about my history, our African history, how beautiful it is. And I'm willing to, if it came down to it, I'm willing to go to as far as I can with that, even if it means losing my life, because it's something I truly believe in my heart. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think most of the people who are out there plan or feel that they'll go into it with that mentality like I can lose my life. Shout out to you sisters though, because the sisters, they out there defending their sons, their future kings, and they would lay down their lives if they had to for their sons. I'm just not sure that everyone else out there is out there with that mentality, and that kind of bothers me.
Yeah. I was proud my niece was out there because it's like historic and I feel like people need to see it. And I guess, our parents, they talked about how they marched with Martin Luther King. But unfortunately, we weren't brought up to be a part of the NAACP or any organization that taught us anything about how to be organized, how to protest, who to vote for, what agendas we need to have. So, someone called me from church and they said, vote for Biden, but we got to get Trump out of office. I said, well, let me just think back Obama time, because I'm in my 40s and I was in the military. I can't really think of anything that changed when Obama was there for me. I can't really think of anything that got any worse for me with Trump. I really don't. So I literally ask people, so what did Trump do? Well, since he's been in office, how has it affected you? What's changed in your life?
Not
None of
much.
it has changed. Okay.
Right.
So your ire to say, let's get rid of Trump, please tell me why. Tell me who I need to vote for and why. But if you can't even tell me why,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
tell
And
me
here's
why. I need
and
some
here
answers.
and here's the other thing that people don't really know what's going on. There's a lot of paid undercover police officers that's starting these riots and these fires. And it ain't even the people who out there protesting. There are hired people. So if you get caught stealing or whatever you're doing, burning, starting a fire or being a part of that with those people who are actually hired to do it, you're going to be the one in trouble. So that's the stuff I'm not with. All that corruption stuff where you know that they're doing it to their own selves and they're blaming it on the people. That's the stuff that's happening right now.
I
It's a
love the
lot.
in plain sight. I call it in plain sight. So you see
Mm-hmm,
a white man in all black with a jacket on with an umbrella.
mm-hmm,
That's a clue. With a
mm-hmm,
pink hammer and pink canisters. That's in
mm-hmm,
plain sight. They're laughing at you. You
mm-hmm.
understand?
Yep.
Or a lady in a red shirt and a wheelchair. Why is a white lady in a wheelchair in Target trying to
Mm-hmm.
in a
Lose.
crowd? In
Right.
plain sight, they're playing games with you. You understand? So you're allowing yourself to be baited into somebody else's game. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the level of awareness. Now, here in Windermere, we had TJ Cole. He was out there with his press pass and he saw a man sitting in the car. Let me tell you, it's so funny. The man looked like, I don't know what kind of snake figure in some movie because he was all shaved off and stuff and he had on a black mask. As TJ came up, he put on a colorful mask and then he had
Mm-hmm.
these weird glasses with like rhinestones on them. Okay, he's getting weirder.
Right.
TJ said, well, what paper, what are you doing here? I'm a part of the press. Well, who do you write for? So-and-so. Okay, well, what kind of articles do you write? Oh, no, I'm a photographer. You got a
Mm-hmm.
laptop, no camera, playing
See?
games.
Yep.
You
And
are
that's why I keep reiterating every day to that we have to have knowledge of ourselves. And that is so key to why we're in these situations consistently and consistently. You know, when I go to most of my seminars and I used to before this whole corona thing hit and I used to go out and speak, I used to have so many people from so many different races come out and enjoy it. And it'd be way more than our people. It wouldn't even be our people in the building. And not knowing your history, not knowing where you come from, coming from greatness, that is a problem with this particular generation. I was born in 84. Now, I knew about Marvin Gaye. I knew about Malcolm X. Because my parents trained me on those people. I knew about the people who came before me. And it seems like now people don't know from the 90s or the 2000s generation, they don't know anything about the history of civil rights. They're just going out there, just doing anything, just trying to be masked up and have some fun and take what they can take. That's not what it is. Excuse me.
Yeah, I just wish we had more foundation and we just had more. I don't know what stopped us. I think, well, I hear a lot of people say that they were jaded because they didn't get results. But people just kind of gave up because being
Right.
able to have a house and a car, a job, and a PlayStation, you know, I started into the financial business and they were like, yeah, sister. I said, what are we selling for? We don't got shit. I
Right.
said, you buying shoes and you didn't make the shoes. It ain't your company that own the shoes, but your name on the shoes, then we don't got
Mm-hmm.
shit. If you
Mm-hmm.
cars and you don't make cars, you don't have shit. So I was like, dude, what we about to do in here? Because you know this is a financial investment firm. We trying to. I said, well, what we doing? What's the plan? I keep
Mm-hmm.
asking people, what's the plan?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's if you don't got no plan, you ain't no reason to be out there. There's no reason to be out there if there's no plan behind it. We're planners. That's why, sometimes it's better to watch things from the window and just watch how things unfold. Because the problem is people are just acting off impulse. They want to get out. The coronavirus has kept us all in the house for a long time. So now people got an opportunity and a reason to come out and they just looking to just be a part of something at this moment. But I always stress You know, I always stress, know your history, know you come from a great line of kings and queens. Your history didn't start with slavery. And we got to stop thinking about 400 years of slavery just as Black history. We
You know
have
what?
to stop that.
Ooh, you can't stop. My son's in the 7th grade. That's all they talk about.
I
They
mean,
have,
we got to know it exists, but we have to.
I said, if they come out with another movie, another TV show, another, I don't want to hear shit else about it. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I
You gotta
stopped watching that stuff a
money.
long time ago.
Yeah.
I think the last one I saw was the Django Unchained. I think that was the
That's
last.
it, Django. That's enough. We
I
good.
think that was the last one I seen, and ever since then I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm tired of this
That's that
narrative.
programming. You trying to tell
Yeah.
people that's all we was.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the teacher that. I said, don't y'all know that? Like, do you read this shit that you got him reading? You read this?
Mm-hmm.
Brother
Mm-hmm.
Rabbit. I said, I don't even know what they saying, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching my son this.
Yeah. And that's why we got to do. You know, this opportunity with Corona gave us an opportunity to train our kids.
Oh, yes.
You know, so that's been very good that we, you know, me and my fiance, we've been school homeschooling these kids on this stuff, and also making sure we let them know how important their history is, and they love it and they enjoy it.
Homeschooling Zoom with me, bro. Let me in.
Yeah.
Let my son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's important. My father was the type of man, he was from Cameroon. He just never let us believe that all that we could be was, you know, a basketball, football player. You know, he didn't let us think that that's it, that that's all we had to strive for. He wanted us to believe, remember who we were in ancient days, and think that we could be more than what we are. So I always had high expectations for myself because of it, and that's because that was the way he was.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to close this gap between Africans and African Americans. We have to make sure that we know those are our people. That is where we are from. We have to know more about it. And you will be surprised. You will be surprised, Erica, to know that there are so many Africans that are going through the same thing, same type of miseducation, same type of stuff in Africa as we speak, that they don't know much about their history because they're being colonized over there as well. So we have to bridge that gap. What they do know in most regions in Africa is that hard work. They still have a great hard work ethic in Africa. They just don't have the resources to get things accomplished. So if we put our minds together, the whole entire African diaspora, we can really change the world.
Right. I saw how there was things I didn't know, and that's why I like being on those pages like Black Excellence and having you guys around, just talking about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
always sharing stuff that's new to me. Because I did not know that they went and ripped up the railroads and
Mm-hmm.
oh, we built everything for you. Oh, but
Mm-hmm.
since you kicked us out, here, let's rip all your shit down. I did not
Mm-hmm.
know that. I had no
Yeah.
idea. Because
Yep.
you look at them,
Yep.
you're like, well, you don't have any drills and tools and things like that. You know, I look at Haiti and I'm like, they mining your gold, but they're not allowing you to manufacture anything.
Exactly.
But
And
then,
that's just a bully game. It's just a bully game. If you let people come into your country and do whatever they want because you feel like they have the money. See, this is what Akon was talking about before when he said we have to have our own money. We have to have our own currency. See, the problem is we're relying on the European dollar in Africa. So that makes them feel as if they have to comply. And they got some soldiers on site that is shooting down anyone that comes near those mines trying to cause some disruption. They will shoot you on site near those mines, even if you come near them. It tells you keep away, I think it's like 20 feet away. Keep 20 feet away. And if you go over there, go close to there, you'll see exactly. They got a whole bunch of African workers who know the land. And then you see those planes come through there, take all the resources, and they fly it right out. This is how it's been done in Africa. The gold, the diamonds, the mirif, the metal works that go into the cell phones, all of that stuff is being stripped from Africa, and Africans is assisting in it because they're trying to make some money for their families.
mm,
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
We can do a live. What do we want to talk about? We want to focus on your book or some sections in your book, like maybe 5 to 7 points that you would like to hit.
Let's talk about the book, because that's the thing that I really want to stress to people, to our people and everybody really, because everybody has a stake in Africa, because everything started in Africa. So let's start there. Let's start with the points in the book. What was the purpose of the book? What were some of the obstacles? Because the obstacles is a big part of it. This racism that we're dealing with now, that obstacles was all part of that. There was so much hate mail that came my way over just my book cover before they even read anything. Just the fact that I had a black man as a pharaoh, which we all know the Egyptians were black, but they fought me on that for a long time until a publishing company picked it up. That's when they was like, okay, let's check it out, you know?
Wow, they wanted you to change the book. Wow.
Yeah. They didn't like it.
You who posted about the Black Jesus on the cover of like Ebony or Jet magazine? Someone else posted it.
That wasn't me.
And how it caused the disruption. They wanted an apology. The actual Black readers of the magazine wanted an apology because of the Black Jesus on the cover.
Wow.
Someone said, "Oh my God, I said, don't be mad at them. It took them years to get this way. It took hundreds of years for them to be programmed and pounded down to be this way." Right now, people are going off in South Carolina, and I gave them a nice, good rant. I said, don't you disrespect these people who are out there, though, because how do you drive to a cotton field or take a kid to a cotton field for a field trip? Take them to a plantation for a field trip. Or mark the Klan in front of them every year. Every year. Right past you while you go to work for less than $8 an hour. How do you do that?
Exactly.
So this pounding down and grounding down of the spirit, they've done a damn good job.
Absolutely. You know, but you know, a little history would tell you that Africans have always been kind of divided, to be real. When you had Egypt, you had Kemet, you had South Africa, you had West Central Africa, you always had Examite Kingdom, you had the Mali Kingdom. These were all separate kingdoms. And here's one thing that's interesting about us is that we always have relied on leaders as individual leaders. So when our leaders get killed, that's when you see complete disarray. Just think about those Pharaoh kings. When the Egyptians lost power, the Pharaoh died, the whole nation just fell under the arms of the Persians. And when you think about when the kings like Shaka Zulu, when he passed away, the whole Zulu empire fell into the hands of the Dutch. You know, so this is what happens when we have leaders, but we don't train other leaders around us. Okay, we have to train other leaders just in case I pass away or when Malcolm passed. Do we have another Malcolm? Do we have a student under him that's going to step up and do exactly what the plan was? And unfortunately, we just didn't have that. When the Huey P. Newtons went to jail or they died, it was no more. It was no more of them.
Yeah.
And that's usually the issue with the African American community and the African community as a whole.
I'm gonna say this too, because you got people like, I'm gonna say it. My sister heard me talk about this all the time. You got people like Dr. Umar who have a lot of history, a lot of knowledge, and a plan. Okay, so maybe you don't like this one thing about Dr. Umar, so you just cancel him out. But if we were going to come together as a council to get anything done, maybe I don't like this, but you got 80% of the pie. You got 20%. I could use that 20. We're going to have to stop trying to cancel people out because you don't like everything that they say. Because, there's going to be,
disagreement.
But at some point, there has to be some congeal of cooperation. And some of your issues might go back and some of your issues might move forward and we adjust accordingly, because you can't just toss everybody out because you don't like, oh, well, she said this or she did that, or You know, if he bad with the money, hey, just don't let him be the treasurer. But he's a
Right.
mouthpiece. He's a good
Right.
mouthpiece, right? And I didn't appreciate what Roland Martin did to him. I absolutely hate it, but are
Yeah.
you bringing people on media and disrespecting them? Like, I
And
like
Roland Martin is one to he supported the book, so shout out to him in a way.
it.
Shout out to him. He did support the book. But he's a guy that he speaks a lot about these issues. I think his thing with Umar was he just felt that he was a bit too radical for the times that we're living in. And I agree with a lot of things Dr. Umar says. I really do. Um, but I think a lot of people are afraid to go on that level where we just say F them and let's just stay focused on us. A lot of people a lot of people are afraid of that, so
Well, I think that's where Byron slowly, but not slowly, but surely, but behind the doors, but behind the scenes, here we got Byron Allen trying to buy up stations and do news, and then we were talking about, well, why did they block him? Oh,
Because
because
he got too big.
well, because he could.
When you put it out there that you're
Newspapers,
accomplishing, achieving, you know, that you have these things, they don't mind you do it, but they want you to do it low key. And that's why he was able to build for so long.
but beyond that, when you start saying that you want to own a news network outlet, now you're going to change the narrative and tell your own stories, and we can't have that.
That's true.
Well, they know who the number one market is. The number one market is Black people. They know that.
Yeah,
But
my
if you can continue to force, if we can just think about these movies over the past 6, 7 years, most of them been trash. They've been a remake of something that's already been done before. It ain't been nothing original. And you got thousands of Netflix movies that's probably way better than anything that come out in the theaters. So it's like the creativity is even lacking because the same people have been in power for this long and doing the exact same thing over.
and
And
if you
this is what,
Ocean's 13, if y'all don't shut the hell,
yeah, I am so tired of that.
I don't like a bunch of sequels and all that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
That's
waste.
why I'm really trying to push Black Pharaoh to another level because, we had contact with Idris's manager back in a year or so ago. And he really likes the idea of doing a movie like that. But he said you got to try to get, if the book does well, he can possibly get it a deal. So just
He
got
might
to keep
shoot
moving.
it in Australia.
Yeah, well, whatever we need. Well, we can shoot it right in Egypt, right in Aswan, Egypt, where most of the African, the black people of Egypt live. They live mostly in the Nubian regions. So we can shoot it right there and they'll support it. We probably won't be able to shoot it in Cairo, but that's okay. And then there's a lot of desert. There's still what you call Sudan. Sudan has probably more pyramids than Egypt has. So they won't have any problem with us shooting a movie out there. So it's really just getting the numbers up, getting more people to support it, more people to talk about the book, and also getting the people who are those higher ups to say that this is worth making because they've taken chances. They took chances with Black Panther, and look what happened. Sold 1 billion, you know. But this isn't nothing made up. Black Pharaoh isn't something made up. That is actually people who actually existed in their respective times. So that makes it even more greater for you to see an Egyptian king as a black man for the first time in films. That would be historic. That's my goal.